Can you say, what is up, guys? It's your girl, Kid Cactus?
It's a girl kid.
Good job. And today we've got some high five, spanking new Destiny 2 news, courtesy of the Bungie weekly update that has just gone live, revealing official information. And so, can you say, let's get started?
Let's get started.
Alright, so first things first, what's been going on this week in Destiny 2? Well, on the Tuesday weekly reset, a couple of important things happened. First of all, we have a new special modifier in Portal activities this week, the Deluge event modifier. So, if you're in a portal activity and you kill an enemy, you will just randomly get like a purple well on the ground. You walk over it and you get a fully charged ability back. It can be grenade, melee, or super. So that does mean you can get your entire 100% super back for walking over a super well. Overall, they spawn pretty infrequently. I didn't think it was that insane of an event. Made a video talking more about it specifically. If you want to see that, linked right up above. A couple people were like, oh, you're calling this an event? This isn't an event. The Dawning is an event. I agree, but it's literally called an event modifier. Like, Bungie's referring to these as events, I guess. So, and I don't know what else to call it, right? But you should know that it is in the game for the duration of the week. Now, on top of that, a patch came out on the weekly reset with a couple of important things. First of all, it nerfed some of the most broken glitches in the game. So the Sturm is no longer, if it has Sturm Overcharge, massively increasing your ability damage. So that says it was fixed, and it also said it fixed the lightweight sword glitch where you could jump and melee for a bungillion damage, right? So that is fixed. However, I have been seeing clips on Twitter that maybe the lightweight sword glitch isn't so fixed. Essentially, you know, it still counts as a melee, so if you have a ton of increased melee damage, you can still abuse it. It's not as abusable by any means. But yeah, there's still some very sus stuff you can do going into this epic raid, so I wonder if Bungie is going to talk about that or have them disable. Now, on top of that, guys, also in this patch was a significant change to the rewards of the Desert Perpetual raid. Bungie raised the floor of the tier of gear you get. So I made a whole video on this linked right up above, and Bungie also made changes to, you know, the feat system, and there's actually been a bunch of buffs to the raid rewards over the last couple of months, and in this video I kind of go over all of them. They're all stacking up to create overall an extremely rewarding experience. You can get tier 5 loot for the base version of the Desert Perpetual raid with no feats, and you only need to be 100 power. As soon as you start stacking on feats, again, if you're under 200 power, you can get literally guaranteed tier 5s. Like, it is pretty insane. Of course, a lot of people upset that, oh, he's just saying go do a raid. That's not easy for a lot of us. I completely agree. But if everyone in the comment section saying that they can't find a team would just team up, you'd have like a million teams right there, bro. Look at the comment section. No, seriously though, it is very unfortunate that Bungie took this long to make the raid this rewarding. It finally feels worth doing. It finally feels like I want to find a team and raid. I haven't felt like that in literally months, right? And so it's so unfortunate that Bungie lost all this momentum. These are the type of rewards, this is the type of activity you need to juice up with good rewards. I'm glad Bungie did it now, but again, the big question is like, is this too little too late? Moving on from there, however, we get into the brand new information within the TWID. So, the first thing Bungie talks about is the Desert Perpetual Epic Raid, which launches in only a couple of days on September 27th at 10 a.m. Pacific. Now, I skimmed through this, and Bungie provides a lot of very important information about this raid, but they don't talk about a massive controversy going on right now within the Destiny 2 community involving the Epic Raid. So what the heck is going on? Well, if Bungie's not going to talk about it, I will. So, part of the Epic Raid is that for the 48-hour contest mode, this big competition, can you beat the Epic Raid? not swap is active. So you're not going to be seeing loadout swaps like you did with the original Desert Perpetual Raid contest mode. If you swap your loadout entirely, if you change your gear, it will actually take away like your super, your heavy, it will punish you, right? But Bungie specifically said that you can still change your armor mods. So that means you can run around the entire encounter with, for example, mods on your legs that give you benefits for picking up orbs of power, and then just before you get to damage, you can swap those to surge mods so that your weapons deal more damage, right? Bungie explicitly said this. But as you can see right here, people discovered that if you swapped any mods that involved stats, you would actually trigger not swap and it would take away all your heavy, for example. And so they said clearly this is a glitch. I mean, Bungie said we could swap mods, just not the armor pieces themselves. But as you can see right here, Bungie, 2 days before the epic raid goes live, responded and said, actually, we treat any stat changes as if you're changing your armor, and so yeah, this is intended, you will lose everything and not swap will trigger. So people were expecting to be able to switch your armor mods because Bungie said you could switch your armor mods, and then 2 days before this goes live, they're saying actually, if you even switch an Artifice armor mod slot, if you even change the tuning mod for your tier 5 armor, you trigger not swap. And so, like, what are we even doing here? As you can see, Salt Greppo, who's won like 3 or 4 world first raids, I've lost count at this point, he made a great point. Like, why not just have locked loadouts active at this point? Why is it this weird hybrid where you can swap some mods but not others? And all of this is just so confusing. And again, Bungie absolutely should have clarified this sooner, because again, this is going to be an extremely intense competition. The original contest mode for Desert Perpetual was already one of the hardest raids we've ever seen. Now you can't swap stuff, and then again, you're practicing being able to change, you know, to 200 super back to 200 weapons or whatever, and now suddenly you can't last minute 2 days before. Complete failure of communication. Again, Bungie absolutely should have been more clear. A lot of teams are very upset about this. But moving on from there, had to talk about that, guys, but here's what Bungie says specifically. So as for entry requirements, all players need to own the Edge of Fate. Completion of the Desert Perpetual base version needs to have been done by the fireteam leader only, and a fireteam of 6 players is needed to launch the activity. They say players who wish to play the raid with less than 6 players will need to start the raid and then have the other players leave the activity. All right. So they say there's improved contest mode loot. So they say the contest mode is the upper echelon of PvE challenges. So for the Desert Perpetual epic raid launch weekend, all loot in contest mode will drop at tier 5 for the first clear and tier 4 with a chance of becoming tier 5 thereafter. Now, they do talk about featured gear and seasonal mods. They said, we announced the epic raid in the August 21st TWID, and our plans were to allow bonuses from featured gear as well as seasonal mods during contest mode. After further consideration, we've decided to disable the weapon damage and the damage resistance bonuses from featured gear, but allow seasonal mods. All epic raid encounters have been tuned with this change in mind. Again, what is with, like, at this point, just keep it, Bungie. Why change it 2 days before? This complete breakdown of communication is really what is making people mad. Why are we adjusting rules 2 days before? That is insane. Anyways, guys, in terms of a list of banned gear, here we go. So, the Bastion Exotic Fusion Rifle, that's not going to be active. Again, this is during the contest mode. I think after that, it's going to go live. The 1-2 punch perk entirely disabled. Unfortunate out there for all the 1-2 punch builds. The Hiatus or Hiatus Legendary Rocket Launcher, however you say it, that's disabled. Lightweight Legendary Swords, so I guess, yeah, they didn't nerf them, that's disabled. And the Ergo Sum Exotic Sword, that is also disabled, and they're probably going to add a few more things before this all goes live. Now, if you are actually able to beat the Desert Perpetual during the first 48 hours, this is the emblem you will earn. No doubt this is going to be a very exclusive emblem. Can't wait for my cousin to hop on my account and just get it for me while I'm in the bathroom. But anyways, on top of that, all players, that's a joke, by the way, it's a joke because of all the cheaters in the first raid, you get that, it's got to be clear. Okay, so on top of that, all players who compete in the normal mode of the epic version, no matter when, will unlock this emblem right here, and then the world's first team will get this specific belt here, guys. Now, moving on from there, I'm just going to showcase right here. Here are the places you can tune in for the epic raid. Now, I would also encourage you to just go on the directory, and a lot of the people participating are going to be streaming on their own individual channels, so you can check those out as well. And then there's also going to be a Twitch drop. So if you watch any stream for 1 hour, you will earn this emblem, guys. Now, moving on from there, they say a reminder of the world's first rules. Streaming is required, but only one member of the fire team needs to stream. You can stream on YouTube, Twitch, or Bilibili. VOD must be on, so Bungie can verify. Basically, they're just gonna check for cheating. So I guess your cousin can't hop onto your account. Oh, I went to go to the bathroom and I came back and the boss was dead. I had no idea. Okay. The game audio must always be on, but you can mute your voice. The team member who streams cannot black out or hide their screen outside of the designated areas, which they're going to talk about. You have to fill out a form, I guess, to be featured on the Evan F and CB Gray stream as well. So they also came up with the official streaming overlay, and a lot of people were making fun of it because it missed the areas that you'd need to cover up, but they've adjusted that apparently, and you can see a little bit of an updated version. It's designed to be minimalist. You are going to be hiding certain buffs, who has what buffs, but it's going to improve the viewer experience, so it's not all blacked out like often we see with World's First nowadays. Anyways, they have the security, moderation, and validation. Our security team is going to work tirelessly to make sure people's cousins can't hop on and beat it for them while they're in the bathroom. And they also have an epic raid ring. Okay, so as part of the Bungie rewards, similar to Destiny Rising when they did the first race, you can now earn this, or earn the ability to purchase this ring. And there's also the raid jacket you can see right here. Moving on from there, they're saying bringing back the raid night. So again, I talked about this earlier, guys, about all of the improvements to the base Desert Perpetual loot. So they now say when the epic raid launches on September 27th, the Desert Perpetual will have 2 weekly challenges. The first can be completed in either version, which unlocks a second in the epic raid. These challenges will grant bonus rewards in each encounter based on the number of feats you have active. So here's the extra, even more bonus gear. So if you have 0 to 2 feats, you get tier 4 bonus gear, and 3 to 5 tier 5. So again, guaranteed tier 5 for just 3 feats for bonus gear is crazy. And also here are the boosts to your power level. If you're under 100, you're getting +7, 100 to 200, +6. You're getting some significant power bonuses too. They also talk about improving the raid gear and feat experience. So they say, in addition to the new weekly bonus incentives, we are improving all gear drops from the Desert Perpetual, starting with the release of the epic raid. All gear from the Desert Perpetual will drop at tier 3 with an increasing chance to upgrade based on the number of active feats. This upgraded gear will have the chance of dropping with a large boost to seasonal power, so you can see all that right here, guys. So again, this is so important. 0 feats, base difficulty, you still have it's a rare, but you still have a chance to get a tier 5. So that is crazy. At 100 power, you can stroll into Desert Perpetual, do the base version, and get a tier 5, luckily, right off the rip. Crazy boost to your account if you can manage that. And you can see it's going up As such, they also talk about they're going to monitor the feed system. We already talked about, I talked about this in my video, how Cutthroat Combatants counts as 2 feats now. Very, very important change here. They also have the full clear reset, continued powerful drops on additional clears. We want to elaborate on a new loot system we introduced in the Edge of Fate that replaced the weekly lockouts from the previous releases, the full clear lockout. This was created to address feedback from players wishing to continue earning power and loot from raids even after the first run of the week. Every time you complete all encounters in the Desert Perpetual, Epic, or Base, you will reactivate powerful drops for all encounters, refresh the locks on all hidden chests, and reactivate the full clear bonus gear chest earned from the final boss. The above details are a lot to digest. Ultimately, our goal is to give players a big chunk of rewards and power on their first run each week, while still providing rewards for those who want to do runs after. As always, we're going to be monitoring the changes and so on. They also have some big, okay, so that's all the raid stuff, guys. Big raid stuff. And then we also have upcoming portal and progression changes. So they're going to be speeding up the power climb. We're speeding up the power climb across the board when update 9.1.5.1 launches October 14th. These changes will focus on solo ops, fireteam ops, and pinnacle ops. We will work to make similar changes for Crucible ops and the Desert Perpetual raid in a later patch. Almost every grade for each power range is getting their power drops improved, whether you're just starting or pushing your way to the last few steps of the power cap. So we can see the changes here. So if you're 10 power to 100 power, you can see like C was normally +4, now it's getting +5. If you earn a B, you were getting +5, now it's +6. A was +6, now it's +7. So you can see all of these changes to the band. Most importantly, a lot of people, they're going for that B+. And I think the most important changes is going to be like 300 to 400, 400 to 500, 500 to 550. You can see like B+ and above is changing for pretty much all of them. So like in the ultimate tier, you would get -1 power. You get 1 power below your overall power if you were 500 to 550, as you can see by this table, getting a B+ grade. That's going to +1, right? That's extremely important. That is extremely important, and that's just going to make your grind significantly easier. You don't have to put on 10 bungillion modifiers anymore to get the A or the A+. You're now able to just, hey, I want to farm easy. I'm watching a video in the background. I don't really care. I don't want to focus. You can just still go for those B+ and progress your power, okay? Now, moving on from there, guys, they also talk about bonus engrams give scored rewards. So speaking of improving the power climb, no matter what difficulty of your power level, bonus engrams, yes, the green ones you see in the portal, will give scored rewards in update 9.1. So that's the October 14th update. This means that the extra bonus engram rewards you get on top of your completion prizes will now have the same power as the engrams from the chest. So again, like we go back to that chart, guys. Let's say you're doing the 400 to 500 power climb, you get an A, right? That's now going to give you +3. But before, if you did a solo ops with 3 of those green engrams, you would get like, your 1 +3. And maybe if there was a bonus drop weapon, you get +2s. They'd be +2s in the past. And then all of those 3 green drops would be nothing. They would be like 10 power below what you are. But now, all 3 of those are going to be +3, and your normal drop is going to be +3, and your bonus weapon, for example, might be +3. So you're going to be going from one activity, you're getting 1 or 2 +3s, and more often one piece of loot that actually progresses your level. You're now getting 3, 4, 5 pieces of loot that all are +3. This is probably going to be the biggest overall change to the entire leveling system, because it's going to make it so that chasing those bonus rewards are like finally worth it. And if you have something even like Widow's Court that has like 4 green drops, right now they're never worth doing. But now, now that it's, 4 runs worth of stuff, like you actually might have other activities and fireteam ops and pinnacle ops become way more worth it if you have a lot of those bonus engrams, guys. Moving on from there, they also talk about the new portal difficulty tuning. So another primary goal of this October 14th update is to make portal activity customization more accessible and more rewarding at all power levels. A key challenge in accomplishing this goal is how the combatant power most players face when playing portal activities can be too high relative to their power and difficulty level. In other words, we feel that the power delta players face in the portal is often too high right now, especially when customizing at the upper difficulties, which can make the game feel punishingly difficult during the power climb. To solve this, we're going to simplify the modifier selection when playing solo, fireteam, or pinnacle ops, so you don't need to worry about making the activity power deltas too punishing. We're also going to set delta caps that are lower and easier to handle than the deltas that players are often facing in the past. So, challenge modifiers will no longer adjust your activity command delta by -10 or -20. Instead, they will only increase your projected score and add the described effect to the game. That way you can choose modifiers based solely on their effects and the score boost without worrying about making the combatant power too difficult. New difficulty delta caps will be set for advanced, expert, master, grandmaster, and ultimate difficulties that are lower than what players are generally forced to play at. So here's the list of the new delta caps. Normal 0, advanced -10, expert -15, master -20, grandmaster -25, ultimate -30. This could actually be a fantastic change. Like, you're now just -30 all the time in ultimate, right? You put on some mods and then you get the score you need to get an A or whatever, instead of pushing it up to like -70 trying to chase the A+, right? Like, it was just crazy deltas. I would way rather have this. I would way rather just be at -30 all the time in ultimate, you know, and then just have a few mods. I think this is going to be a massive improvement. Oh my goodness. Also, matchmaking and quick play improvements. So they say matchmaking and quick play will retain fixed power levels, but we are adjusting the fixed power for expert and above to match the new delta caps, which were already shown. We believe this particularly will improve matchmaking at the master, grandmaster, and ultimate difficulties and make it more feasible for players to succeed together. On top of the fixed power updates, we're implementing other quality of life changes to matchmaking and quick play, and you can see all of the different changes right here, guys. Then, conquests retain their difficulty tuning. While we are intentionally changing the portal difficulty for customization, I guess you can see here they're keeping the conquest because they're meant to be very challenging. They give you a ton of high tier rewards. Now, they're also going to be adding a catch-up chest. For players that are new or returning to Destiny, we have something new for you. So on October 14th, there's going to be a one-time catch-up chest that will give you power level 300 gear, as well as an amount of unstable cores. And if you're, you know, that's not going to be relevant to you if you're already above 300, they're going to give you a powerful gear instead. All right, that's actually, you know, that's pretty huge, man. If you haven't been playing, that's going to be the time to hop back in. Also, casting update for Banshee 44, and a lot of people were talking about, I think he had like an AI voice. That's why he was getting recast. Moving on from there, Cold Fusion at Trials, guys. Trials, even though the Epic Raid is happening this weekend, Trials is back, and it starts tomorrow. And there's going to be a reprised Stasis Adaptive Fusion Rifle, the Burden of Guilt, that's being added back into the game. Lastly, guys, Displate is partnering with Destiny 2. You can get a bunch of Destiny-themed displays, so definitely check that out if you want to, guys. And that is going to be it for the video. If you guys enjoyed and found this informative, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.